I think I was wrong on the Roth conversion rule. Can't lie. Not too proud to acknowledge it, but I think I was wrong. The reason is generally when I see a pushback on YouTube, my channel is pretty smart. I get a lot of smart people on my channel. And you get idiot comments. I get that. That doesn't bother me. When I see a bunch of people with basically chapter and verse, I'm like, man, I must be missing this. And I was like, but my pride goes up, like, so I push back initially. But it's like, if I'm missing this, I need to know. You know what I'm saying? And I think I was wrong. It's crazy. I hate to say it, but I think I was. So the premise here is I'm going to read you this portion, a portion of this Kitces article from 2014, which has always stayed in my mind for many, many years. But I think I misread what Kitces was saying. And again, I don't like to admit defeat, but I think I was wrong here. So what Kitces is saying here, I'm just going to share with you right quick here. We're going to go down here. The 5-year rule for Roth conversions, all right? Unlike the 5-year rule for contributions, the case of conversions, each conversion amount has its own 5-year time period. And thus with multiple conversions, there may be multiple 5-year rules underway. So that stuck with me. It's always stuck with me because back when I was working at Vanguard, back in the late 90s, they just introduced the Roth, the IRS or the Congress just introduced the Roth under the signature of Bill Roth, who was a Republican senator from Delaware. And I remember even back then, I said, because back then you can convert and you have 4 years to pay the tax on the conversions. And you also, we always knew you had access to your principal, your contributions. You always had access without penalty or taxes. In fact, it was FIFO, first in, first out. It was pretty sweet. So you can take access to your principal and leave your gains in there. It's pretty cool. Not a lot of times is the IRS that flexible. So for me, I didn't have a huge amount of money, but 20, 40,000 bucks in my 401k, whatever it was. I said I wanted to convert everything, pay the taxes over 4 years, and then still have access. We'll just say there's $40,000 I converted without penalty, without taxes. It would certainly be without taxes, but without penalty. I said because it'd be like a contribution. That's what I thought. I remember thinking this. I was like, all right, sweet. So if I convert my 40,000 bucks, all right, I have access to that $40,000 the next day after conversion because it'd be considered like a contribution. That was my thinking. Wasn't right though, and so here Kitces describes it pretty well. He goes, to understand the purpose of the 5-year rule for Roth conversions, an example of what would occur would help. And again, not again, but this is for people under the age of 59 and a half, which is what I was back then, and I still am under the age of 59 and a half. So this is where my focus was on. I wasn't able to see outside my focus. Isn't that crazy? But check this out. Jeremy is 40 years old and would like to tap the $50,000 of funds in his traditional IRA. If he takes a withdrawal now, he'll be subject to ordinary income and a 10% early withdrawal penalty. If Jeremy converts his IRA to a Roth, he would also be required to report the amount of his ordinary income. However, he can now take withdrawal of his after-tax principal from his Roth, the converted amount, without an additional penalty. The end result, Jerry could entirely circumvent the IRA early withdrawal penalty by simply doing a Roth conversion. And the 5-year rule is designed to prevent this. That's exactly that's exactly me. I was like, yeah, the 5-year rule is designed to prevent that from having access to your money without penalty before 5 years. There is a Roth conversion. Each has its 5-year rules to have access to it without penalty. Under the age of 59 and a half, because once you're over the age of 59 and a half, there's no penalty. And again, I couldn't see that. I was like, oh man. Continue the prior example, if Jeremy completes his conversion and waits 5 years, and that's not what I want to do. I want to have access to my money without having to wait 5 years, as if his contribution. He will be eligible to withdraw his Roth conversion principal without any early retirement withdrawal penalty. This is true because he had met the 5-year requirement for conversions, even though he'd only been at age 45 at the time. Thus, while the 5-year conversion rule prevents individuals from outright dodging the early withdrawal penalty from their IRAs, it does allow them to potentially gain access to their IRAs before 59.5 without the 10% penalty. Though notable, any gains on Jeremy's conversion would still be taxable as even if he had met the 5-year rule because he's under the age of 59.5. All right, so again, that was me. I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, I have access to my principal, access to my principal, access to my principal, but there's a 5-year rule for each conversion. But then we go down here. The nice thing is he gives us the treasury regulation, all that stuff too. And again, I just had the blinders on. Check this out, though. On the other hand, if the individual is otherwise exempt from the early withdrawal penalty, i.e. by being over the age of 59.5, the withdrawal of conversion principal is penalty-free because, again, the 5-year conversion thing is for a penalty, not income tax, for a penalty. And tax-free as it's already taxed at the conversion. Thus, for those who are already over the age of 59.5, the Roth conversion 5-year rule is essentially a moot point, and only the 5-year rule for contributions remains relevant. Only the 5-year rule for contributions remains relevant. And we know the 5-year rule for contributions. Once it's been open for 5 years, it's all tax-free. And the 5 years is when you first open your Roth IRA. Crazy. All these years I've been getting it wrong. All these years. And it's only because some guys, they challenged me on my YouTube channel, and it freaking pissed me off. Not gonna lie to you, but I was like, man, but the way they challenged me was, dude, you're wrong. You're wrong. Here it is. The 5-year rule for conversions is for a penalty. The 5-year rule for contributions is for taxes. And once you're over the age of 59.5, the 5-year rule for conversions is no longer applicable because there's no more penalty. To the Roth IRA that you had your money in has it been open for 5 years. Now, that sounds right to me, but dude, I've been wrong obviously here, so I'm leaving that to you and your tax guy. But that sounds right to me because Kitsa says right here. Thus, for those who are over the age of 59.5, the Roth conversion 5-year rule is essentially a moot point, and only the 5-year rule for contributions remains relevant. And again, the 5-year rule for contributions right here. 5-year rule for Roth contributions is used to determine whether a withdrawal of growth will be tax-free as a qualified distribution. And then what Kitsis goes on to say is we want to get this clock started as soon as we can, even if you do a $100 conversion, that starts the 5-year clock. And so as long as the Roth has been open, even the Roth for which you're putting money into it as via conversions has been open for 5 years and you're over the age of 59.5, it's tax-free. Anyway, there you go, man. And, hey, I appreciate the people correct me. I don't like it. I don't like being wrong. I certainly hate admitting it. But, dude, I might be wrong, but I'm always going to tell the truth. All right, love your thoughts. God bless. So whoever was, you guys who are showing me this, kudos to you. Still pissing me off, but kudos to you. We'll see you.